morning. It's about 6 a.m. This is Bruce's V-Strom. Over here you can see it's properly outfitted, highway pegs and all. But I want to show you guys my bike here real quick. This is the front tire. I've got about 6,300 miles on it so far. And aside from squaring a little bit, which is going to happen, it looks pretty good. Now normally I get 8,000-9,000 out of a set of tires, and that's with most riding 2 up and loaded down. But look at my rear tire. There is hardly any tread depth left in the middle. There's actually a lot less on the outside than I was expecting too. So don't think I'm going to make it home on this set, considering I still got about 3,000 miles left to go. Alright, so I'm pulling out of Fort Nelson this morning, the Motel Inn. That is Bruce and Bruce walking in to grab some coffee there. The Bruce with the hat on is the one I hung out with and had dinner last night. The other Bruce, well, his bike's covered up. Good for him. He's on the BMW GS, and that's his buddy's Harley. They are headed up to Watson Lake today. And I don't know how far north they're going, but both of those guys are on a northern route right now, and I am headed not really south, maybe a little south and east for the next few days, and then I'll be headed east to for quite a while. But another somewhat cool morning starting out. It's about 55 degrees out. I expect that to drop a little bit as usual as we get out of town, so I turned on the heated grips on a few things. I already got my layers on. I learned my lesson yesterday. Make sure they're on before you take off, so you don't have to stop and put them on in the woods like I had to yesterday. I've got the Jeep. You know, originally I was planning on going to Whitecourt today to spend the night. I may still do that, but it's kind of TBD. I looked it up. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's inevitable. I'm going to need at least a rear tire, maybe a front tire. We'll see. But there is a KTM dealer in Grand Prairie, and I've got the GPS set to that right now, which has got me getting there a little after 2 o'clock. But by the time I stop and stuff this morning, it'll probably be a little bit closer to 3. And the reason why I was looking for a KTM dealer is chances are they'll have the best selection of tires to fit my Super Adventure. I'm kind of disappointed with how the Trail Tac 2's worn on this trip, but the last few sets of them have been great. So if they have that, great. If they don't, hopefully we're able to get something put on the bike, because there's no way that rear tire is going to last another 3,000 miles. So if they're unable to get me in today, I may spend the night and try to get them in tomorrow, or you know, worst case scenario, I'm sure I can make it to Edmonton, maybe all the way to Winnipeg. There's KTM dealers at both of those spots, so maybe I can give them a call ahead and get something lined up. We'll see. It's not the end of the world. It's just gonna take a little bit of time to get stopped, get some tires put on, and then get moving again. So I think right now it's about 360 miles to Grand Prairie. I was going to try to cover about 550, but hey, it's a motorcycle trip. You never know what's going to happen. So we'll just play it by ear, see how it works out. I know there's plenty of hotels in Grand Prairie if I need to stay for the night, so time will tell. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy this morning's ride and show you guys some highlights along the way, I suppose. So I don't know how well you guys can tell from the camera here, but we noticed this a little bit last night down south. It looked cloudy, but there was a hint of smoke in the air. So, you know, I was watching the news this morning. It seems like half of North America is on fire right now, and I think we've got a little bit of that going on somewhere down in this area. I'm not real sure. I didn't see it reported on the Weather Channel or the news, but that's definitely not just low-lying fog and clouds this morning. Some of it is, but you've got a little bit of smoke mixed in there too, because you can smell just a hint of it in the air. So not the first time I've had to deal with riding through smoky conditions. We did it last year going through Missoula, Montana. And even the year before, going through Yellowstone, a little bit of it was on fire. So I did see this morning Yosemite is totally shut down, at least for the next few days, due to fires there. So I'm hoping we're able to avoid stuff like that on the ride home here. We'll find out. I mean, we can always reroute. There's a bunch of different ways to get home. So just came through Bucking Horse, and now we have a little bit of road construction, a little bit of delay here. They'll bring them down through the other way, and then we'll follow the pilot truck back. So maybe a few minutes. I see the bugs are back out. It hadn't been too long a wait, probably less than 10 minutes. Here comes the pilot vehicle and all the vehicles behind him. So still have to wait a couple more minutes for everybody to clear through, and then we'll make our way through this one-way section of construction here. It's gonna be a dusty one. Here we go. Looks like we're mostly hard surface through here, but I don't really remember this section of construction on my way up. I'm sure it was here, I just don't remember how long it is. This is a pretty long section here. So we got kind of fortunate and only have to wait a couple minutes back there at the stop. So you guys may remember I stopped at Pink Mountain to get fuel last time, and I met a fellow named Doug. Well, Doug did chime into the comment section of my most recent upload as of actual today, you know, July 25th, and he said he hung my sticker up there in the store, so I'm hoping he's around and I get to say hi to him for a minute and grab a snack, and then get back on the road to Dawson Creek, and then end up in Grand Prairie to see what we can do about this tire situation. Looks like both the pumps are being taken up at the moment, but no big deal. We'll just wait our turn. Actually, might be clear on this side. Well, sorta. I gotta go in and give him an ID or something anyway, so no big deal. Got the tank topped off and got a little snack in there. Unfortunately, no sign of Doug or Simba up on the front porch this morning, so Doug, if you're watching this, sorry I missed you, my friend, but maybe I'll catch you on another trip. That right back there was the closest call I've had with any wild animals on this trip. Those two moose just jumped right up into the road there and then kind of waited for a second and then moseyed on across. I didn't see them coming, but if you look, the road back there is much like it is here, where it's a big drop off there on the side, so you just couldn't see them. We're coming back into Fort St. John, still backtracking. We've got just about 50 miles left on the Alaska Highway, and then I'll have ridden it start to finish and finish to start. So I did stop at Fort St. John on my way through, on the way up north at Burger King to grab some breakfast one morning. Not planning on stopping this go around. I may stop in Dawson Creek for a minute or two to snap a couple pictures, and then I'm going to make my way on down to Grand Prairie, which is probably right about 2 hours out from where I'm at right now. I do lose an hour today. I'm trying to remember exactly where I lose that hour, but I know I lose it by the time I get to Grand Prairie. So it's actually closing in on noon, the place I'm going to, but it's only about 10:30, 10:40 here local time right now. So I think that's right anyway. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get through Fort St. John's and finish out the Alaska Highway. Yeah, I remember sitting up on top of that hill on the way into town, waiting on the construction crew to let us go because it's all single file through here. And I remember the metal deck bridge, yay! Actually, I've kind of gotten used to riding over these things on this trip because I've had to ride over so many of them. Fortunately, it hasn't been raining on any of them, because when they're wet, then that adds another layer of difficulty. But looks like we're gonna looks like I could almost push the bike across this one as slow as everyone's moving. So I'm gonna drop back just a little bit to give myself a little bit of space between me and the van, or between me and the truck in front of me, because I don't really like tapping my brakes once I get out on these things. So give myself some space. I do have a truck behind me, but shouldn't be too bad. It looks like it can be a first gear. If we're lucky. I'm in first gear right now with the clutch pulled in and the brake partially pulled in, so we'll see how this goes. The Peace River. I bet that rear tire is going to dance a little bit under me right now, because there ain't much tread left in the middle of her. I was hoping to be able to stand up going across here, but I don't know if that's going to happen if we keep going this slow. I might be forced to come to a stop. We're creeping along at about 9 miles per hour. Man, we timed that, you know, not that I had anything to do with it. It was just timed up perfectly to get across here and not have to wait, because you can see the line of traffic going up the mountain already. Everybody's speeding up a little bit now. No sense in getting in a real big hurry. I can't remember if there's a passing lane up here or not. If there's not, definitely not going to make it up this mountain too fast with all the trucks and stuff directly in front of me. Alright, we're across. Oh, yeah, there's a passing area. And we didn't make it very far. It looks like it's almost a dead stop right here. I'm not real sure what's going on. I'm going to hop over in the right lane for a minute. Oh, it's because it's going back down to one lane up here for more construction. I don't want to be that guy, but I also don't want to sit behind these trucks. I got another 200 meters to get over, however far that is. Man, more single lane traffic. I do not remember this on the way through. This must be some additional work they're doing up here. Surprise, surprise, more construction ahead. Actually just been riding over this grooved and graded road here for the last few miles once we top the mountain, but not real sure what's going on down here. If we're going through both sides. It looks like they got a stop down there. Oh well, nothing you can do about it, just ride. Coming back into Dawson Creek. There's the sign I stopped and got my picture at a week or so ago. I'm actually going to ride through town this time instead of taking the little bypass around it, but we're just about to the end of or the beginning, however you want to look at it. End for me, beginning for anybody heading north of the Alaska Highway. I suppose I could go back and confirm, but it appears the time changed when I crossed from British Columbia back into Alberta. That makes sense. So it's actually about 1:21 in the afternoon here. I'm due at the KTM dealer right about 2 o'clock is what the GPS got me showing up at, so about 40 minutes out. I don't know if you can see it, there's the sheared beaver. This guy was selling cherries, I think he's asleep, but he was selling cherries last time I was coming through here. Don't worry guys, you're gonna get to see it one more time. There it is, the big hairy beaver. I think it's pretty damn funny. Alright, that leaves me with about 23 miles to get to, probably less than 20 miles to get to Grand Prairie, but 23 miles to get to my destination. Alright, so let me give you guys a little bit of an update of what just went down here at Countryside Motorsports in Grand Prairie, Alberta. Really great group of people in there. I didn't call ahead or anything because these international calls are not cheap. So I just popped in there. They are an authorized KTM dealer. I thought maybe they'd have a set of tires in stock to fit this thing. Unfortunately, earlier today they sold the only rear and a Trail Attack 2, and they only had one other tire in there to fit it. and I would have taken that tire. The problem is they didn't have a matching front, and it was such an aggressive tread pattern. I didn't want to mix and match, so I called the dealer in Edmonton to I got to get some gas before I leave town. I'm actually not staying in Grand Prairie after all. Let me go ahead and get the gas, and then I'll finish my story here. All right, so I just took a phone call, and now I'm back on the road, but of course the road would be closed. Why wouldn't it be closed? Well, this is fabulous. All right, so I guess I get to off-road a little bit again. Unbelievable. All right, so I was talking about tire situation. So I called up to Edmonton, and they had the tires. We're gonna flip this thing over into a different mode because this is ridiculous right now. Great. I'm glad I got my visor closed, but I'm still sucking in some dust. So when I called Edmonton, they had the Trail Attack 2s and the TKC70s in stock, front and rear, matching sets. Really good prices on both, and they could install them, but they couldn't do it until Friday. So I went back to the counter there at the dealership here in Grand Prairie, and I was about ready to just say, go ahead and put the mismatch set on, and then they said, well, we can't do it today, we can't do it till tomorrow. And they were like, well, it's better than Friday. I was like, well, not really, because, you know, either way I'm losing a day, because I can still go ahead and ride toward Edmonton and spend an extra night there and then get a matching set. And they weren't going to have anything here in time. So there was one other dealership near Edmonton. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's basically like a suburb of Edmonton. And I called them, and I don't know if they have TKC 70s or not, but the guy said, yeah, I got Trail Attacks here to fit. And I said, well, the $1 million question is, can you install them tomorrow? And he said, let me check. And they said they are booked up, but they like to help out travelers whenever they can. So as long as I was willing to, you know, sit around for a little bit tomorrow, they would get the tires put on for me. So that's really good news. I have about 3 hours left of riding, assuming I'm not riding in off-road the entire damn time. I have about 3 hours of riding left to get to Whitecourt, which I believe puts me around an hour or so out of Edmonton, so I can be at the dealership right about the time they open in the morning. Anyway, I'm going to continue to ride down this damn dirt road and hopefully get to some actual pavement here at some point and get to Whitecourt. I've already got the room booked for the night, so I'm not concerned with it. I should be there, I don't know, by 6 o'clock at the latest. Honestly, I'll probably be there by about 5:30. Enough time to get a shower, get something to eat, get some good rest tonight, and get some new meat put on these rims tomorrow. You know, I live in an area where it's not uncommon to be going down a back road or maybe even a state route or something, and there's a tractor or backhoe. I've never seen one get on the interstate before, though. This is fascinating. I'm sure this is probably an everyday occurrence here in Grand Prairie, but where I come from in Bunker Hill, West Virginia, this just isn't something you see very often. And that's where I'm staying right there at the Days Inn, but I don't know if I missed the exit there. Not really an exit, you just pull off the side of the road. Pretty sure that's where I'm staying. GPS has me somewhere slightly different, but they've been known to make mistakes. I suppose I ought to double check my reservation on my phone first before I go in here and make an ass of myself. Well, the rear tire's still there. Actually, it's wearing pretty well here the last day or two, but you can tell I'm down to not much left there. Alright, so actually a pretty decent room tonight here at the Days Inn, but we're back to this air conditioner, like portable air conditioner thing again, but it's really not bad in here. So normally after I check in, I like to get showered up, changed, and then go find something to eat, but I am starving, so I'm just going to pull off my riding gear, throw on some jeans, and the lady down at the front desk recommended a place that's maybe a mile up the road. So I'm gonna get changed and go get some grub. What are you people doing? Alright, it's a pretty good dinner in there at Mountain Steak and Pizza. People seem to have trouble parking their trucks between the lines around here. Almost like I'm back in West Virginia. So I think I'm going to go ahead and top the fuel tank off. There's a gas station pretty much right next to the hotel. I'm going to see if there's an ATM in there. I've made it this entire trip without using any Canadian currency. I really haven't used much American currency either. I've been putting most stuff on my charge card. But I need some change in order to go ahead and do some laundry tonight. I think if I work the math out right, if I do laundry tonight, I should be good. Well, I might have to do it one more time, but at least I'll have plenty of clean clothes for the upcoming days, and I can figure it out from there. Alright, so made it back to the room. I've gone ahead and thrown my laundry in. I'm going to get a few things unpacked here. You never have too many hard drives, am I right? And then I'm going to get a shower and then go up and throw the clothes in the dryer and probably just lounge around the room tonight. Like I said earlier, dinner is pretty good. I don't have a real long ride to start tomorrow because I got to go, I don't know, like an hour and a half from here to go get tires put on. And then depending on how quickly they're able to get me in will depend on how far I make it tomorrow. So get this thing fired up and then go get cleaned up.